My sister deleted my college applications and told our parents I was too irresponsible to succeed. They believed her without question, urging me to give up. But when I showed them the truth, my mom froze and my dad couldn't say a word. It didn't hit like some movie scene with dramatic music or a sinking feeling in my gut. No, it was just an ordinary Wednesday in Asheville, North Carolina. The kind that starts quiet and explodes without warning. If I'd known by evening, I'd face their accusations in our living room, with my future hanging by a thread. I might have prepared better, but I didn't until the confrontation. Officers weren't involved, but the betrayal felt just as sharp. I stood there as they confronted him, my heart pounding, demanding I admit to slacking off. Sophia Carter. Mom said sharply, her voice cutting through the tension. You've let us down again. Dad nodded silently, avoiding my eyes. The room tensed as I realized this wasn't a mistake. It was deliberate sabotage. If you've ever been stabbed in the back by family, smashing your dreams in an instant, smash that like button, subscribe for more raw tales like mine, and comment your own story. You might save someone from the same pain. Our house in Asheville sat on a quiet street with views of the Blue Ridge Mountains, but inside it was always tense. Growing up as Sophia Carter, I learned early that Natalie Harper was the star. She came 3 years before me and somehow got everything right. Perfect grades, confident smiles, the kind of kid who won awards without trying. My parents, Susan Clark and Kenneth Reed, poured their attention into her like she was their only success. They owned a small hotel downtown filled with local art and cozy rooms for tourists. Natalie helped out front charming guests while I stayed in the back office handling paperwork. When she brought home a mediocre report card, they celebrated her effort. When I acid tests, they said good job and moved on. It wasn't cruelty, just habit. They didn't see me unless I messed up. And even then, it was quick disapproval. I tried harder, got straight A's, joined clubs, but it never stuck. Natalie cried once at a family dinner over a bad haircut, and they spent the evening comforting her. I broke my arm, falling off my bike at 11 o'clock, and they told me to tough it out. The favoritism built like layers of paint you don't notice until it's too thick to ignore. Scout, my rescue dog, changed that a bit. Natalie begged for a pet when she was 14, making PowerPoint presentations about responsibility and companionship. Parents caved, bought Scout a fluffy mutt with big ears and endless energy. She loved him for a month, then complained he chewed her shoes and shed everywhere. They considered rehoming him, but I stepped in at 11, promising to handle everything. They shrugged and agreed, figuring it was easier. Scout chose me from day one, sleeping at my feet, following me around the house, tail wagging like I mattered. He listened when I talked about school or how Natalie borrowed my clothes without asking. In a home where I felt invisible, he made me feel seen. Vivian Porter, my aunt, lived a few miles away in a quirky cabin filled with books and herbal teas. She was the one adult who got it. Whenever things got heavy, I'd leash Scout and walk over. She'd make hot chocolate, listen to my rants about Natalie getting the new phone while I used hand-me-downs. Vivian didn't fix things. She just nodded and said, "You deserve better, kid." She was in her 50s, independent after divorcing young, running a small gallery downtown. Her visits to our house were rare, but when she came, she always brought something from me, a book or sketch pad. Ignoring Natalie's pouts, Natalie left for college 2 years ago to a state school nearby, studying business to take over the hotel one day. The house echoed without her. Parents texted her constantly, worried about her adjustment. She came back after a semester saying campus life was overwhelming. No details, just vague complaints. She locked her door a lot, scrolled endlessly on her phone, had friends over at odd hours. I smelled weed from her room, heard slurred laughs, but didn't say anything. In our family, questioning meant stirring trouble. I noticed her hovering near my computer, pausing in my doorway, stirring a second too long. I told myself it was paranoia. My senior year was focused on college apps. I dreamed of escaping to an Ivy League school with a scholarship for environmental science. I spent nights perfecting essays, researching programs. The deadline loomed and I double-checked everything on the family desktop in the living room, the only computer we shared since mine crashed last month. Everything looked good, or so I thought. The next morning, I logged in to submit. The applications were gone, deleted. Not just one, all of them. My heart dropped as I searched recycle bin browser history. Nothing. Panic set in, hours of work vanished. I confronted Natalie first since she used the computer last night for homework. She leaned against the kitchen counter, sipping coffee, her hair in a messy bun. "What are you talking about?" she said, eyes wide. "Innocent. I didn't touch your stuff. You're always blaming me for your mistakes." Her voice had that edge, the one that made parents side with her instantly. I pushed back, saying, "Someone did it, and you were the last one on." She rolled her eyes, called melodramatic, and walked out. By afternoon, parents called a family meeting in the living room, the same spot where they praised Natalie's art projects as a kid, while mine collected dust. Susan sat straight back on the couch, Kenneth beside her, looking uncomfortable. Natalie lounged in the armchair, phone in hand. Sophia, Susan started. We've heard about the applications. Natalie told us you forgot to save them properly. That's not true, I said, voice rising. They were there last night, deleted this morning. Natalie must have. Susan cut me off. Don't accuse your sister. She's been helping with the hotel all week. You've been distracted lately, staying up late, acting forgetful. Kenneth nodded, adding, school stress can make anyone slip up. We think it's best you accept this and apply to local community college instead. It's more realistic for you. I stared at them, mouth dry. Realistic? I'd worked for years. GPA 4.0 extracurriculars, letters of recommendation. This was my shot out, but they believed Natalie without proof, urging me to own the mistake for the family's sake. If we make a big deal, Susan said, it could embarrass us all. The hotel relies on our reputation. Natalie smirked slightly, then hid it. I argued, but they shut me down, sending me to my room like a child. Grounded, essentially. No phone, no outings, just reflection on my responsibility. Scout whined at my door, sensing the tension. I paced the room, replaying the day. How could they side with her so fast? It hit me this wasn't new. When Natalie crashed the car at 17, they blamed bad weather. When I dented the bumper at 16, they docked my allowance. Favoritism wasn't subtle anymore. It was a weapon. Alone in my room, I whispered to Scout, we'll figure this out, boy. He tilted his head. Ears perked as if agreeing. Vivian called that evening. It texted her before they took my phone. She listened, then said, sounds fishy, kid. Hang tight. I'll swing by tomorrow. Her voice steady calmed me, but anger simmered. They thought I'd roll over like always. They were wrong. Days blurred in isolation. Parents treated me like a disappointment. Meals. Silent glances disapproving. Natalie avoided me, but I caught her whispering to Susan. Smiles shared. Kenneth tried small talk once, asking about homework, but backed off when I mentioned the apps. We know it's hard, he said, but taking blame builds character. Character? I snapped back. What about truth? He sighed, walked away. Scout was my lifeline, curling up on my bed during the long afternoons. I'd adopted him fully after Natalie ditched him, and now he repaid with loyalty, barking softly when voices raised downstairs. Vivian visited on day 3, bringing groceries and a hug. We sat on my bed, Scout between us. She asked details, and I spilled everything, the deleted files, Natalie's denial, parents, blind faith. Vivian's eyes narrowed. Sounds like sabotage. You have proof? Not yet, I said, but the computer history might show something. She nodded, suggesting I check when they're out. Her gallery kept her busy, but she promised to dig around, ask subtle questions at family dinners. Vivian wasn't close to Susan's sisters by blood, but worlds apart in personality. Susan controlled everything. Vivian flowed free. She left with a plan. Keep your head down. Document everything. That night, I sneaked downstairs after everyone slept. The desktop hummed in the dark living room. I logged in, scanned recent activity. Files accessed last night under Natalie's account. My stomach twisted. She'd lied. But deleting history was easy. No direct evidence. Then I remembered the camera. A small motion activated one hidden in a bookshelf teddy bear. I'd bought it cheap online last year to watch Scout when he had anxiety spells alone. It recorded to an SD card. No Wi-Fi. Simple but effective. Faced the desk perfectly. If Natalie did it while I was out, it might have caught her. Pulse racing. I grabbed the bear, popped the card into my old laptop. Footage loaded, timestamped the night before. There she was, Natalie glancing around, slipping toe the desk, opening my folder, selecting all apps, hitting delete. No hesitation, just quick clicks, then log out. She even smiled faintly as she left. I replayed it, frozen in shock. Proof clear as day. But if I showed parents now, they might twist it, claim accident. I needed strategy. Called Owen Mitchell, my boyfriend since junior year. He picked up, whispering. Hey babe, you okay? No, I said. Explain everything. He listened, then said, that's messed up. I'll come over tomorrow. We can back up the footage. Owen was steady, studying engineering, always logical. Weed. Met in math club, him with his easy grin, me with my notebooks. He didn't judge my family drama, just supported. Morning brought more pressure. Susan knocked on me door, saying, time to talk seriously. They gathered again in the living room, Natalie looking smug. Well of you, Sophia, but this irresponsibility can't continue, Susan said. Admit you messed up and will help with community college apps, Kenneth added. It's for the best. Natalie's thriving at state school, you can, too, locally. I clenched fists. Why believe her over me? Because she's been reliable, Susan replied. You've been withdrawn, secretive, Natalie chimed in. Yeah, you've been on that computer obsessively. Maybe you deleted them by accident. Her lie hung heavy. I wanted to scream about the video, but held back. Instead, I said, fine, I'll think about it. They nodded, satisfied, isolating me further. Scout sensed my frustration whining as I returned to my room. Vivian texted later. Got anything? I replied, yes, video proof. She said, smart girl, bring it to me. Wheel plan. Owen arrived that afternoon under pretense of homework help. Parents let him in, wary but polite. In my room, he hugged me tight, saying, we'll get through this. We copied the footage to his drive, discussed next steps. He suggested involving a lawyer if needed, but first confront with backup. His calm grounded me. Owen wasn't dramatic. He analyzed like an engineer. Natalie knocked once, asking what we were doing. Studying, I said sharply. She lingered, then left, eyes narrowed. Isolation dragged on a week total. Parents monitored me. No internet access beyond schoolwork. Natalie paraded her helpfulness, assisting at the hotel, earning praise. I overheard Susan telling Kenneth Sophia needs this lesson. Natalie's our future for the business. It stung, confirming my fears. The hotel was their legacy and Natalie, the heir apparent. My scholarship dreams threatened that if I left for a top school, she'd face more pressure. It made sense now. Scout stayed by my side, his presence a reminder of loyalty. Vivian snuck over twice more, bringing snacks and advice. She's always been my rock, divorced, young, child-free, choosing art over convention. We plotted, showing the video in a neutral setting, maybe with her present. Owen backed it up, offering to edit timestamps for clarity. His support felt solid, unlike my family's conditional love. As days passed, anger turned torsolve. They expected me to cave, disappear quietly. But with proof in hand, I wouldn't. The meeting they planned for tomorrow would change everything. I lay awake, Scouts, breathing steady, thinking of the fallout. No turning back now. Family dynamics sharpened in my mind. Susan ran the hotel with iron efficiency, scheduling everything, including our lives. Kenneth handled finances quietly, avoiding confrontations. Natalie manipulated that dynamic, playing victim or hero as needed. Me? I adapted, stayed silent to keep peace. But silence bred resentment. Scout nudged my hand as if saying, fight back. Vivian's words echoed, you deserve better. Owen texted, good night, with a heart emoji, his way of saying, I'm here. Tomorrow I'd face them, not as the overlooked daughter, but as someone with truth on her side. The isolation ended, but the real battle began. The isolation stretched into its second week, and my doubts about Natalie grew sharper. Every time I heard her laughter downstairs with Susan, it fueled my suspicion. Why would she delete my applications? It wasn't random. She'd always resented my independence, my drive to leave Asheville for something bigger. As a kid, she'd steal my toys, blame me for breaking them, and parents bought it. Now, this felt like an upgrade aimed at keeping me trapped. Scout paced the room with me, his nails clicking on the hardwood floor. He sensed my agitation, nudging my leg with his nose as if Tosi, hang in there. I scratched his ears, whispering, good boy. We'll expose this. The camera footage burned in my mind, clear evidence, but I couldn't risk showing it yet. Parents might dismiss it or worse, delete it themselves to protect Natalie. I needed allies. Owen texted daily, checking in with encouragement. He wasn't the type to panic. Always calm, plotting solutions like fixing a broken circuit. Vivian too sent messages full of wit like, don't let them dim your spark, kid. You're the firecracker here. That afternoon, Susan came to my room, tray in hand, with a sandwich and apple. Eat up, she said, setting it down. We need to talk about your future. Her tone was firm, the one she used at the hotel when dealing with difficult guests. I sat on the bed, Scout at my feet, watching her wearily. Future? I asked. You mean the one Natalie ruined? Susan sighed, crossing her arms. Stop blaming her, Sophia. This is on you. Irresponsible with your work, admit it, and we can move forward. Help at the hotel full-time, apply locally later. Kenneth joined her in the doorway, nodding. It's practical, he said. Natalie's set to inherit the business one day, but you could assist. His voice trailed off, avoiding my gaze as usual. Assist? I echoed like a sidekick. I've got scholarship potential for a real degree. Susan's eyes flashed. Dreams are fine, but reality bites. If you keep accusing Natalie, we'll cut support completely. No allowance. No car privileges, think about that. They left the threat hanging. Scout growled softly after they closed the door, his loyalty fierce. I paced again, anger bubbling. Cut support. They'd always favored Natalie with extras, new clothes, trips to concerts. Me, hand-me-downs, and lectures. This wasn't just punishment. It was control. Owen snuck over that evening under cover of delivering school notes. Parents let him in briefly, Susan eyeing us suspiciously. In my room, he pulled me into a hug, whispering, "I got your back." We sat on the floor, scouted between us, as I showed him the footage in my laptop. He watched intently, then whistled low. "That's cold," he said. "Deliberate, no doubt. Let's copy it to my drive, add timestamps for proof." His fingers flew on the keyboard, efficient as ever. Owen's engineering mind shone here. He backed up files, encrypted them, even suggested watermarking. "Why do this?" he asked, pausing. "Jealousy," I replied. My apps included scholarship essays highlighting my independence. "If I leave, Natalie's the sole heir under pressure," he nodded. "Makes sense. She's always competed with you subtly. Remember last Christmas when she one-upped your gift?" I laughed bitterly. "Yeah, Vivian thinks we need a plan. Show her the video first." Owen agreed, adding, "Let's loop in a lawyer if it escalates." His practicality balanced my emotions, keeping me grounded. We talked strategy for hours. Scout dozing contentedly. Owen left with a kiss, promising, "Tomorrow we'll refine this." Vivian arrived the next morning, pretending to drop off art supplies for a hotel event. Susan welcomed her, chatting about business while I slipped out to her car in her cabin surrounded by canvases and incense. We reviewed the footage. She leaned forward, glasses perched on her nose. "Clear as crystal," she said. Natalie's face says it all, smug satisfaction, but confronting at home risks them ganging up. "Do it neutral, maybe with witnesses." Her voice carried that wise edge honed from years navigating family rifts. Vivian wasn't just supportive. She was strategic, drawing from her own past. Divorced at 30, she rebuilt alone, turning passion for art into a gallery. Susan resented that freedom, calling it selfish. Now Vivian used it to guide me. We brainstormed over tea, her laughing at absurd ideas like projecting the video on the hotel wall. "Seriously though," she said, "involve Owen. He's solid. And consider legal advice. Breaking into files could be seen as invasion, but proof's proof." I nodded, feeling empowered. Scout, who'd come along, sniffed her rugs happily. Vivian petted him, saying, "Loyal ones like him remind who's real family." Back home, the pressure mounted. Kenneth knocked that evening, sitting awkwardly on my bed. "Sophia," he started, "we don't want this dragging on. Admit the mistake and it's over. No more grounding." His tone pleaded, almost like he knew something was off but couldn't admit it. "Dad," I said, "why always believe her? Remember when she lost the hotel keys and blamed me? You grounded me then, too." He shifted uncomfortably, saying, "Natalie's sensitive, needs support. You're stronger. Can handle it." "Stronger," I retorted. "Or just easier to ignore?" He stood muttering, "Think about the family," and left. Scout wed, sensing my hurt. Kenneth's passivity frustrated me most. He saw the imbalance, but never challenged Susan. That night, I journaled everything. Dates, dialogues, building a timeline. Owen called later, his voice soothing. "Progress?" he asked. "Yeah, Vivian has the footage safe." He shared his day fixing a robot for class, lightening the mood. Owen's optimism was infectious, reminding me life beyond this existed. Isolation hit week 3, and desperation crept in. Susan announced at breakfast, delivered to my room, that if I didn't confess by weekend, they'd cancel my phone plan. Natalie hovered, smirking as she passed. "Enjoy your cave," she whispered. Her taunt ignited fury. I texted Vivian and Owen from my hidden old phone. "Emergency meet." We convened at Vivian's gallery after hours. Art pieces casting shadows. Owen brought snacks. Vivian brewed coffee. We watched the footage again, analyzing. "Look at her glance," Owen pointed. "Nervous but calculated." Vivian nodded, adding, "Susan will defend her toe end, but Kenneth might crack." Plan, copy to multiple drives, then confront with a mediator, perhaps a family counselor. But I wanted direct. Show them the video in the living room. Watch their reactions. Owen cautioned emotions high could backfire. Vivian agreed, but said truth bombs work best up close. We debated pros cons. Scout playing with a toy Vivian kept for him. Finally decided, Vivian hosts a family talk at her cabin, reveal there. Neutral ground, her presence as buffer. Owen volunteered to film discreetly for record. His tech-savvy shone, suggesting apps for backup as we wrapped. Vivian hugged me, saying, "You're brave, kid." Owen walked me home hand in hand, whispering love. "You will win." The threats escalated. Susan stormed in one afternoon, waving my old report cards. "See this?" she said, consistent but not standout like Natalie's. "Except community college or you're on your own." Her control-peaked voice sharp. "Mom," I said, "this isn't about grades. It's sabotage." She laughed dismissively. Paranoia doesn't suit you, focus on reality. She left, slamming the door. Scout barked protectively. Kenneth followed later, softer. We worry about you, he said. Natalie's concerned, too. Concerned? I scoffed. She's the problem. He hesitated, then said, families stick together. His weakness showed fear of rocking the boat. That night, Owen sneaked in through the window like a teen movie. We laughed quietly, tension breaking. He updated backups secure on cloud. Talked dreams him engineering me environment. His support felt real. No conditions. We kissed Scout watching amused. Vivian set the meeting for Saturday. She called Susan, framing it as reconciliation tea. Susan agreed, wary but curious. Natalie tagged along, probably to spy. I prepared, mentally rehearsing words. Owen met me early at Vivian's, helping set up laptop. Vivian arranged chairs in her living room, teas ready. Scout sat by me alert. Family arrived. Susan leading, Kenneth trailing, Natalie texting. Vivian greeted warmly, ushering them in. Thanks for coming, she said. Sophia has something important. Susan frowned. What's this? I stood, heart racing. The truth about my applications. Natalie shifted uneasily. I played the video on the screen. There she was, deleting files, glancing sneaky, room silenced. Susan's face palled. Kenneth stared. Natalie blurted that it was a joke. Didn't mean to submit. Joke, I said. You lied. Watched me suffer. Vivian interjected. Proofs here. Discuss. Chaos erupted. Susan defending Natalie, claiming accident. Kenneth silent. Owen recorded discreetly, Natalie cracked, admitting jealousy. Your scholarships make me look bad for the hotel. Parents reeled. Susan whispering, we protected the family. Protected her? I corrected. At my expense. The video exposed everything raw, undeniable. They left in disarray. Susan fuming. Kenneth defeated, Natalie tearful. Vivian hugged me, saying, first step done. Owen high-fived. Proof worked. Back home, isolation lifted, but tension thickened. Parents avoided me. Natalie sulked. I knew confrontation was just beginning. But with evidence solid, I felt unstoppable. Scout wagged his tail as if proud. The video wasn't just files. It was my freedom ticket. The drive back from Vivian's cabin felt charged with unspoken victory. Susan gripped the wheel tightly, her knuckles white, while Kenneth stared out the window, silent as ever. Natalie sat in the back, sniffling occasionally. But I caught her glancing at me with a mix of anger and fear. To Scout rode with Vivian and Owen, who'd offered to drop him home later, a small mercy amid the chaos. No one spoke until we pulled into the driveway. Susan turned off the engine, then faced me, her voice low and strained. Sophia, that video proves nothing. It called be edited a misunderstanding. I met her gaze unflinching. Misunderstanding? Natalie's actions were deliberate. And you knew deep down, but chose to ignore it. Kenneth murmured. Let's calm down, but Susan snapped at him to stay out. Natalie burst into tears, saying, I didn't mean for it to go this far. I just wanted you to stay, help at the hotel. Her confession hung heavy, laced with self-pity. Wanted me to stay? I said. Or trap me so you look better. The favoritism ends here. Vivian had warned me they'd deflect, and she was right. Susan's control cracked, revealing desperation to maintain the family facade. We entered the house, tension thick like fog. Susan paced the kitchen, demanding I delete the footage for the family's sake. Think about our reputation. She said the hotel could suffer if this leaks. Guests talk, neighbors gossip. Kenneth tried mediating, adding, we can fix this quietly, apply late to local schools. His passivity irked me more than ever. Always the peacemaker at my expense, Natalie hovered by the counter, wiping her eyes, but her sobs felt performative, the kind she'd used as a kid to get her way. I stood firm, saying, no more lies. The video stays and I'll decide what to do next. Owen texted from Vivian's asking if I needed backup. His concern warmed me. He wasn't just a boyfriend, but a partner in this mess, offering logic when emotions ran high. Vivian called too, her voice steady, saying, stand your ground, kid. They've underestimated you too long. Scout would be home soon, she added, knowing he grounded me. That night's sleep evaded me. I replayed Natalie's admission, jealousy over my potential success, threatening her role as heir, the hotel their pride built from scratch, now a symbol of division. Morning brought escalation. Susan confronted me at breakfast. No Natalie or Kenneth in sight. She slid a paper across the table, a written apology from Natalie scripted neatly. Sign this, she said, agreeing it was a mistake. We'll move on. I pushed it back. An apology doesn't erase weeks of isolation or lost opportunities. Where's my future in this? Susan's gaze hardened. Your future is here with us, family first. But family meant sacrifice for you, not her. She stood abruptly, saying, if you pursue this, you'll regret it. We'll cut ties financially, emotionally. The threat landed heavy, but I saw through it, control slipping. Kenneth appeared, then pulling her aside, whispering. They argued in hushed tones, him urging compromise, her resisting. Natalie emerged later, hair tied back, looking remorseful, but her eyes darted. Sorry, she muttered. I panicked about the business. Dad said you'd understand? I replied. You sabotaged my dreams out of fear. No forgiveness yet, she teared up again, but this time it felt genuine cracks in her manipulative shell. Showing vulnerability, Owen arrived mid-morning with Scout, who bounded and tail wagging. Breaking the ice momentarily. Parents tolerated him, but Susan eyed the bag. He carried backups of the video. We need to talk, he said calmly. As an outsider, I see the damage. Let's resolve without lawyers. The family huddled in the living room again, echoes of past meetings where Natalie shone and I faded. Owen sat beside me, Scout at our feet. Vivian joined via video call, her face on my laptop adding weight. Susan started defensive, claiming overreaction. Kenneth nodded along, but his fidgeting betrayed doubt. Natalie admitted more. I'd overheard parents discussing inheritance the hotel to me if I proved reliable, but Sophia's scholarships Medine look unreliable. Twist hit hard. Parents orchestrated partly. Susan denied it, saying, we encouraged Natalie to step up, but her voice wavered. Kenneth confessed quietly. We thought pressuring you would build character, keep the family close. A character? I exploded by lying isolating me. Vivian interjected from the screen. That's not parenting. It's manipulation. Owen added, evidence shows intent deletion timestamps match Natalie's login. The room fell silent, proof undeniable. Susan's facade crumbled, tears forming. We did it for unity, she whispered. Unity meaning control, I corrected. Natalie broke down fully, sobbing. I messed up bad school, stressing me. The hotel looms. Her confession revealed layers pressure, cracking her confident exterior into insecurity. But sympathy didn't erase betrayal, decisions loomed. Vivian suggested mediation, but I pushed for consequences. Share the video with school counselors. Natalie's college could investigate academic sabotage. Susan pleaded. No, it'll ruin her. Ruin her like she tried with me. Kenneth offered compromise. We'll help reapply, pay fees. But trust shattered. I refused. Owen backed me, saying actions need accountability. We adjourned. Tense as parents retreating Natalie to her room. Scout stayed close. His presence comforting amid fallout. That afternoon, I packed essentials, clothes, laptop, Scouts, toys. Vivian offered her spare room temporarily. Owen helped load the car, his encouragement steady. You're strong, he said. This is your fresh start. Parents watched from the window. Susan's face etched with regret, Kenneth's with resignation. Natalie approached as I loaded Scout. Please don't, she said. I paused. You chose this now. Live with it. She nodded tearfully, stepping back. Driving away, the house shrank in the rear view, a chapter closing. No dramatic farewell, just quiet severance. Settling at Vivian's felt liberating. Her cabin buzzed with creativity, paintings everywhere. Herbal scents soothing. Scout explored happily, chasing leaves in the yard. Vivian made dinner pasta with fresh veggies, chatting about her gallery shows. She wasn't just aunt, but mentor, sharing stories of breaking free from family expectations. That night, I reapplied to colleges using backups Owen had saved. Essays flowed stronger, infused with recent resilience. Owen visited daily, our bond deepening through crisis. He wasn't flashy, but reliable, fixing my laptop, planning dates to local hikes. Weeks passed, applications submitted. Parents called once, Susan's voice cracked, begging return. We miss you, she said. Miss the control, I replied. Kenneth added, Natalie's struggling, counseling started. Good for her, I said. But I am done. Hung up, hearty, but resolved. No reconciliation, betrayal too deep. Natalie texted apologies, but I blocked, focusing forward. Consequences unfolded. I shared the video anonymously with Natalie's school advisor, citing academic interference. Investigation followed. Natalie faced probation, community service. Her record tarnished, Susan and Kenneth's reputation dipped. Hotel guests whispered after rumors spread in our small town. Business slowed. They argued more. Kenneth pushing for change. Susan resisting. Vivian heard through grapevine. They separated briefly. Kenneth moving to a motel. Family unit fractured as predicted. I thrived at Vivian's, taking online courses. Walking Scout daily. Owen and I grew closer. Him proposing a joint project app for pet monitoring. Inspired by the camera. His innovation sparked mine. Scholarship news came months later. Full ride to an Ivy League environmental program. Excitement surged. My future reclaimed. Vivian celebrated with wine, toasting independence. Scout barked happily, part of the joy. Reflecting now, I see the lessons clear. Family isn't always sanctuary. Sometimes it's the storm,